Hey everybody, Arthur here with another unboxing video. Today we have Marvel Legends series, a Deadpool wave, Cable, the man, the myth, the legend, the leader of X-Force, Cable. This is from the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure wave. On the side, he comes with some decent Cable art. You know, it's alright. Same on both sides. Then we get into the pose of the figure on the back, which is horrible. Just looks garbage. And then we get into a little bit of information. Everybody from the wave. That Build-A-Figure. Alright, let's go ahead and get Cable out of the package. We got Cyclops' baby boy out of the package. Looking solid. He comes with a leg of Sasquatch. We also get a bunch of cool accessories. We get a pretty cool looking double barrel pistol shotgun thingy-majig. It's in that like dark metallic gray plastic. Sculpted pretty well. Yeah, and it has some, like, this little gun has some weight to it. It's pretty impressive. Then, can't be Cable without this ginormous, huge cannon. And this thing is hollow, so it's not a solid chunk of plastic. They're like, we gotta save cost and make it hollow, but it's definitely hollow, which is a good thing because then he allows them to hold it a lot better. Yeah, so I mean, it's a typical Cable gun. I mean, the creator and artist of you know, X-Force and stuff had issues with drawing guns, so he did all these weird, big, futuristic guns. And that's right, I'm talking about Rob Liefeld, whatever his name is. Dude couldn't draw guns, couldn't draw feet, like, yet he was still able to produce and pump out comics. I don't get it. Don't get it. Even made Captain America with boobs. If you Google Rob Liefeld and his Captain America, it's pretty well known. But either way, that's a whole another rant. This gun's a typical Cable gun. And then we get into one that is cool, but then it's sneaky at the same time. We get this pretty cool, like, Gatling gun, laser pistol thingamajig. It's pretty awesome looking. And the sculpt is really nice, as it should be. Very clean, a lot of detail. And the reason I say that as it should be is because this is based off of a real item. And if anybody isn't aware, Hasbro makes Nerf. There's Nerf guns. This is a Nerf gun. And I'm going to show you guys right now. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. They're sort of implementing their Nerf toys into other figures' toys, which this one works, but as you'll see other figures in this wave, it doesn't work so much. It's just giving them weird guns. Like, I don't know. This one's okay, but I don't know if we'll ever start getting more realistic guns. I think we're going to be more stuck with like weird futuristic laser shooter guns and stuff to, you know, for Hasbro to play it safe. Then we dive into, I am so grateful that this figure came into my possession. I'm sort of drooling as I'm looking at, like, this is a very, very good figure from this wave. The whole wave is amazing, but I can see why this one is the most sought out figure. This is the classic Cable. Like, in my opinion, this, just looking at it aesthetically, it craps over the Marvel Select one, because that Marvel Select one had that giant Jay Leno chin, which to me just didn't look right. But I really love this Cable's look. Let's dive into his face. Show some love there. Look at the sculpted in scars. Not only are they sculpted in, but they are actually painted with a little bit of pink. The eyes painted very well. The eyebrows look amazing. It even looks like add like a little bit of a wash to the eyebrows. Or it's just how the shadow's hitting, with the eyebrows look great. His eye, that's a beautiful effect. Whoever decided to do that is awesome. It's like a little bit soft and pliable plastic. And then his face is just like, this is Cable. I love it. Don't really care for the gap up in his hair. Like these separate pieces that are like being glued on and attached and stuff. I feel like at certain angles you start getting these weird gaps, which you can definitely see on this side. I mean, it's totally separated. So they're doing all these like little like separate pieces of plastic and putting them all together, and they're just not setting right. And which sort of gives him sort of a long back of the head. His ears seems lower. So I can really pick it apart, but I'm not gonna try to pick it apart too much. It is, I love the sculpt of the hair. I love it. It's a lot of sculpting into that hair. It looks great. I love the little parts hanging down over the forehead. Yeah, it's just awesome. So now his head can get some really good left and right. He can go all the way around technically. Looking up, he gets some really good positioning on the looking upward. He can look down only. Well, he can only slide that down. He can look down somewhat. I mean, I'm sure if this was gone, he'd be able to look down a little bit more. Yeah. So, and then he even has the attitude. You got to have a little bit of attitude because you're the leader of the X-Force. So, it's so awesome. And I love this part. It's painted and sculpted very well. Even with it being loose, it sets right. It sets very, very right and doesn't look out of place. I'm gonna, like, it's gonna seem like I'm just gonna talk this figure up, and it's not intentional at all. I mean, it's intentional because it's a solid figure, but it's not like I'm going out of my way to make it a figure look better than what it already is. You get the wash going on the pouches, looking awesome. The paint on the shoulder pads it's like a separate like style of paint. It's like a glossy, so it stands out, and they just look fantastic. I love the painted individual like grenades. Those rounds are individually painted, which looks great. It's just a very, very solid paint job on this figure. Get the continuing wash on these pouches on this side. Sculpted again very well. These little pouches are sculpted. No wash on these, but it's trying to keep consistent with that green design. Bionic arm looks all right. But just like everything in the strapping, the harness looks great. If you slide this down, doesn't look horrible. Now his arms. Oops. Do not want to break this guy. Yeah, he does not want to. So his arm goes up that far. And I think it's because there it goes. You sort of have to give it a little bit of love, but it can go up that far. Not much. As a bicep swivel. He's got the double jointed elbow, wrist rotation, and of course you got to have that wrist bend going on there. I love the gloves. Again, sculpted very nicely. The wrinkles. Even has a rotation at... Wait, no, it doesn't. Oh, this is like it's actually a separate piece. So I was like, it rotates right here. No, it's just because it's rotating, but it does have a little bit of plastic chunkage from the mold right there. And this arm does not want to play nicely, so I'm not going to try to force it up, but you know, it does get that rotation. Has a trigger finger. Got the glove style as well. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. But yeah, I'm not going to try to force his shoulder up because I don't want it to break. We all know some of these plastics that are used are very, very fragile. Very fragile. And his ab crunch now. He does lean forward quite a bit. His harness and stuff doesn't, so it looks a little goofy. Then leaning back, lean back quite a ways, but again, that harness doesn't really go with them. And yeah, this looks goofy. Then he does have waist rotation. I wish they would have painted the belt. Like, they were doing so well with doing all these paints, and they just left that plain. But I guess technically it's going to be covered by this part, so I guess that's probably why they didn't paint it. They painted these, no buckles or anything. There's brown, left everything gray, painted the boots brown as well. You guys have seen this lower torso before. I mean, it's straight up Nuke. And I just coincidentally have Nuke laying right here. So yeah, it's the exact same legs and everything. They at least painted the buckles on Nuke's. So wish they would have done it with cable. He can do the splits this far. He can do a Spartan kick. And he does have a thigh swivel, which this one's acceptable because it's right where the band of this pouch is, so you can, it doesn't really break up the design that much. And he does have the double jointed knees, you know, typical, and boot swivel, which is awesome because where a boot is. He does have ankle bends, but he can only go up so far because the boot actually hits the top, and then he has the ankle pivot. So these boots are awesome. I just love this whole setup. Just looks great. Now, he does have a holster for his pistol, which that goes in this way. There it go. You know, so set up backwards so he can reach in with this arm, pull it out. It's nice, very nice. Then we got the peg right here. This is for his gun, the BFG. So you can have that gun on the back positioned however you want. And then he does have his other gun, which doesn't really have a home. I have seen other people get creative and sort of put it on there, but I mean, I'm not really going to force it on there. I don't want to damage the peg or cause that trigger finger spot to break off. So I just got to figure a cool way to position that this gun. So I'll go ahead and put it in his hand at least. There we go. Looking pretty awesome. Not really the gun I would have cable naturally hold, but just having them all geared up, pistol in the holster, gun on the back, just looks awesome. Got cable all posed up with the BFG, and it's okay. It's okay. It's barely okay, because the gun and the side that they want you to, you know, they put it in the trigger fingers on this hand. When it's plugged in, put in his hand, you get this big peg hole screaming at you. All right. That's one negative thing. This part should be resting into his, you know, into his arm. Doesn't really do that, so it has to lay over crossed. That's two. And then his little, hey, I'm going to hold this gun. You could mess with it all you want. It doesn't, it's not really, it's just there to look like he's doing it. It doesn't really like fit around. Like, I guess if you, yeah, I have to actually hold his hand up like so. So that to me is 3. Like, I can see why they were like, hey, let's put this on the back of the figure, because it's not really like to me, it's like all an illusion. Like you don't get really some. You can't. I mean, this. Take this out here. So realistically, his gun arm will be up. This part should be resting right up there. So he needs a really long arm to do so, unless it's not supposed to be that way. But then why would you have a stock if it's not going to rest up where it needs to rest? You know, because look at that distance. It's pretty long. You'd have to have some long arms. And then also, if you're looking at this hand, I mean, it doesn't really grip around it at all. If this is supposed to be resting in his hand and look natural, his hand's not wide enough to make it do it. So yeah, that's straight up disappointing. Like, you want to pose him with that giant gun, you're limited a lot by it. So, you know, thank you, Hasbro, for giving us an iconic weapon and limiting us to, you know, only so many poses with it, and letting us see that nice, nasty peg hole when he's holding it. So this is, now this one holds it nice, natural looking. I'm just like, they want you to have it on his back, and then like, even though they did make it wide enough for his hands, it's, I don't know. That's disappointing. But is it a reason to not buy the figure? No, not at all. It's not a reason to not buy him at all. So he is a very, very nice cable, and I do have some figures because we're going to do some comparison. Here we have a cable party, all the cables that I have in my possession, and we'll start with the classic Toy Biz original cable that first came out. As you can see, same type of harness as the new one that we just got, the little X thing right there. Very, very, you know, this one paid respect to the original style cable. So is this new one. It's got that nice shiny pure silver arm. Got karate chop action here with this flesh arm. But yeah, just sort of basic. I just brought him out just to sort of show that he is toting the same design as the new one. Then I brought this little guy out because I just like him. 3 3/4 cable, looks great. I love the metal arm. I wish they would do that style now. And he did come with like a pistol, rifle on the back, and the spear. There was an alternate one that came with like Baby Hope, which was like supposed to be strapped to his chest or something like that. But still, I didn't get that one, and this one looks awesome. Then the big comparison. These two cables. Waist down, they're identical. This one has shin guards. I wish this one had shin guards, but I can see why they didn't go with it, you know. So they have the same from basic waist down. Different styles of belts, you know, and weaponry. I like both of them. I love the battle armor. Has like bullet holes in it and stuff like that. Just looks really awesome. And I love the classic look as well. Then we get into these faces. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, this one's better and this one's better and this one. They're both really, really well done. Got the classic look, but then look at this cable. The scarring around his face. The cybernetic part of his face with the yellow eye. It just looks, it looks awesome. I mean, you really can't say one is better than the other because they're both two different styles of cable, and they both look fantastic. Now, if we want to talk about the metallic arm, you know, this one wins hands down. I just feel like the newest one is way too shiny. I feel it should be more like this arm. But both, again, are great figures. And I really like the weapons this one comes with. You know, they may be futuristic stuff. This one has actually bullets, but this one looks like a futuristic plasma pistol or something. I like that design more than some of this other stuff we got, like the double barrel pistol and this weird Nerf gun, you know. But all in all, they're both solid figures. Not one's going to win over the other. If you can only have one cable that's up in your collection, you know, That's totally up to you. I'm sorry that you can only do one cable, but you know, you gotta throw out two cables. I mean, they're two different versions. Just like you have X-Force Deadpool, you got classic Deadpool, you got the modern Deadpool, you get all these different versions. It's okay to have two cables, guys. So if you like both, that's okay. So that sums up my unboxing review of the new cable from the Deadpool wave, the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure wave. And if you guys like what you saw, hit that thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, check out some of my older videos, and look forward to future videos because I'm constantly pumping out some content. And I want you guys all to have the best luck hunting. Keep on collecting. Have a beautiful day.